Hello everybody and welcome back to CFO Conversations. Today I would like to introduce to you a new member in our conversation, Glyn Bailey. Hi Glyn, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
I'm Glyn Bailey. I am a senior finance leader that's had 17 years of experience, predominantly in fast-moving consumer goods businesses. Last year I left the confines of the corporate world to start out on my own, essentially in the space of executive leadership training, development and facilitation.
Great. And today nicely flows into our conversation that we're having around change leadership through self-leadership. And I always think to myself that I would love to be the leader that people choose to follow. They're not following me because they're paid to. Yeah. The pinnacle would be to have people follow you because they choose to. Yeah. I know you've got some serious thoughts and models around self-leadership.
I think when I think about change leadership, I look at all of the different ways people try to make change happen. And if you think about a McKinsey report that says 70% of change leadership fails due to poor leadership, I question why that is. I recognise that if we put our best leaders on change, then what's happening that's preventing that change happening? And really it's because we're focusing on the task and the process, and that's not to say it's not valid, but we're very rarely considering the main impact of change happening, and that being ourselves. Now, if you've ever tried to maintain a diet or a healthy eating plan or an exercise regime, you'll know how hard it is to be self-disciplined to make change happen. Yet when we think about driving change in others, we seem to think we can do that with much less of a challenge than we think changing ourselves are. So when I think about change leadership, it's recognising that if you want to see the change, you have to be the change. Yeah. And it requires a daily discipline and a daily practice to self-lead in every facet of your life, whether that's professional or personal.
Yeah. And I say to people, and I say it to myself, that it's about where am I playing at? Where am I playing? And we hear this about being above the line or below the line. So am I being positive? Is my energy up? Do people actually want to be around me? Do people actually enjoy having me in the conversation? Yeah. And that's not about being liked. It's actually just about, people wanting to be around you. Yeah. And like you say, you've got to be the change that you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And in that, when I think about the model that I refer to, is I've developed one which is essentially a heart framework. So it's really easy to remember. If you want to lead change for yourself, connect to your heart. And what heart stands for is hope. So having a vision, there's no point in saying you want to lead change for yourself if you don't know what the destination looks like. The second step is energy. And again, if you've ever tried to drive a car without any fuel, you know you'd not get very far. So having fuel to drive you for that vision is incredibly important. And that comes a number of ways, keeping yourself healthy, doing things that nourish you, surrounding yourself with the right people, incredibly important. The third step, which I think is probably the most important, is action. Because without action, there is no change. You can have the greatest idea of the destination you want to go to, you can have fuel in your tank, but without action, you're not going to make that first step to make that change happen. The fourth step, resilience. So we're always going to achieve our goals, but we often recognise there's roadblocks along the way. So the resilience is the bit that helps you overcome those roadblocks. And then the last step really is trust. Trust in yourself and trust in others. And if you followed the sequential order of that, you recognise having the vision, having the fuel, which is your energy for it, taking action and moving towards it, being able to get up when you feel down and out because of the obstacles, you're actually building a foundation of seeing progress. And progress builds trust because you see that you're not where you were, you've moved forward. And when you begin to trust yourself, others begin to work to trust you.
Yeah, and I think it's important to make a start as well. Yeah. Lots of people hold themselves back because they're waiting to be perfect. Yeah. So thanks, Glyn. That's really giving us some thought there around how to be a change maker through using our heart. Yeah. And hopefully the audience will really resonate with that. Thank you.
Thank you.